Welcome to RSFFL Live. I'm your host, Robert Harris, and we're excited to kick off a great Week 12, man. 2 weeks away from the playoffs. Everybody's been waiting. Tempers are flaring in the chat room. I mean, you can tell guys are geared up for another great playoff tournament that we have set to starting Week 14. Only 8 teams are going to get that invite. Are you going to be one of those teams, or are you going to be that team sitting talking about next year? There's a few teams I know right now don't care anything about next year, but there's a couple of teams that have been talking about next year, and that's just weird to me. But anyway, we'll get the show kicked off. As we always do, we want to thank our lovely sponsors. Thank those guys over at Youth Passing League. They've done a great job for us, been our title sponsor all year, so we thank those guys for everything they've done for us. Also, as always, Nike Fuel Band, guys. Nike Fuel Band, they've done wonders for the cadets, just keeping us active, letting us keep control of our activity, making sure that guys aren't taking days off, and we recommend that to all you guys. Another sponsor, those great guys at Hennessy, man. Hennessy, and I know there's some guys that, man, I mean, I can think of a few teams that have had a few shots of that. I mean, Hennessy, Hen Dog. I mean, what you got, man? I think you've had quite a few. I think that's why that bottle's about half empty, because you've had a few shots of that, man. But you're still alive, Hen Dog. We'll talk about you a little later. But Hennessy, man, those long Monday nights, Sunday nights, I always get a shot of that good Hennessy, man. Take that pain right away. Those great guys over at Stella. I'd like to thank those guys for being a sponsor this week. It's for the kind of a celebration, or after a long work day, long work week, you kick back, get a brew. Then they say that you're sulking, but you always want to get a brew so you can relax. That goes great guys over at Stella. And then this week we have a new sponsor, those Windex. I mean, there's a lot of guys I've been seeing from the chat and just talking to some guys. They got a clouded view of what the state of their team is. I think sometimes you just get that good old Windex, spray it, wax on, wax off, so they can get a clear picture to see they're going to need some help, all right? But those are our sponsors this week. Thank those guys for coming down. A special shout out to the owner of Ground and Pound, Quincy Avery, and the owner of the Coaches Cadets, myself, on the championship that we had this week with the Vikings. We had a great run. As you can see, Ground and Pound's owner right here at live action coaching. Did a great job for us this year. But special shout out to Ground and Pound, the owner of Coaches Cadets, on a great championship run with their youth football team. And as we start off every show, I know there's some guys that act like they haven't been here before, so they're always excited just to hear their name listed, which I don't understand. But my name gets listed a lot, not just because I'm the host of the show, just because we always doing good things. But we're going to always give you, if you do something well, you're going to get listed on the show. You don't have to call me and text me all day asking when the show's coming. All right, this is going to be a show every week. All right, I'm getting sick and tired of it. I'm getting sick and tired of you guys talking about it's a show at 7 o'clock in the morning. Man, it's going to be a show. Just relax, all right? You get your own, do y'all not have any type of media in your cities? There's no media in Virginia or D.C., wherever the fuck you live. Is there no media in Buckhead? I mean, come on, man. Golly, I'm getting sick and tired of you guys, man. But, hey, that's personal. Let's get to business. Congratulations. Special congratulations to Lynch Mob, man. They're rolling, man. They've scored 505 points the last 3 weeks. I mean, man, their team, we'll talk about them in a little bit, man, but they're going to be there. They're looking to be there in the very end, very end, all right? They're not looking just to make a name for themselves. They're doing a great job. They had 157 points last week. Had a big matchup against Camp Creek Cartel, and it wasn't close at all. They only had one person in single digits. They had led by Stafford, Marshawn Lynch, and Andre Johnson, all over 20 points. And they had a lot of other guys high in the double-digit mark. So congratulations to Lynch Mob with 157 points. Also, Houston Hustlers, man. We thought those guys were asleep, man. Ray Rice woke up. I tell you what, if Ray Rice is going to play, and guys might have to watch out for the Houston Hustlers. They're still 7-4, guys. There's only 4 teams in the league can say they have that record or better. But the Houston Hustlers had 5 guys score 20 points. I mean, led by RG3 and the Bengals defense with 28. You had Ray Rice with 24, Victor Cruz and Jordy Nelson with 20 apiece. Yeah, man, those guys lead them. You better watch out. I mean, nobody's really talking about them, but I tell you what, they got a good team. They definitely have a good team. And now to the Cellar Dwellers. This is a place that nobody wants to be. This is probably the first week that we don't have any guys. I think we shout out to the league. It's the first week that everybody's over 100 points. The lowest point total we had this week was 108. That's the Camp Creek Cartel with 108 points. I mean, 108 is not good at all by any means, but he only had 3 guys in single digits. So I mean, and his quarterback had 37. He just, a lot of guys just kind of had pedestrian performances, but we got to shout him out in a bad way, man. Get your shot at Hennessy, Camp Creek Cartel. And that was a huge thing about him. That was a big must win. I don't know must win, but there was 5-5, and now he's playoff start this week for him. Also in the cellar, which I know a lot of people want to hear, as usual, Hen Dog Sushi Smackers. I mean, they're always here. So to them, this is probably scoring over 100 points was probably a big deal for them. But Hen Dog, he only had one guy score in single digits. So it's a lot better than having one in double like he's usually doing. So I'm kind of congratulating Hen Dog, but you're still in the cellar, buddy. But congratulations on having at least putting up a respectable number. Well, I don't even know if that's respectable. At least not being, awful. 80 points. All right, congratulations. And then everybody wants to hear this, and everybody loves to hear Coaches Cadets. All right, we were awful last week. We put up 109 points. We had 3 guys in single digits. We had a big game with Aaron Foster Care. And they beat us 125 to 109. Congratulations, Aaron Foster Care, on that victory. I know you want your credit as well. We'll give credit where credit's due. Congratulations. And the Coaches Cadets were awful last week with 3 guys under 10 points. So we were in the cellar. We'll own it. We'll wear it, and we'll get better this week. What else do you want? What do you want us to say? All right. So congratulations to those high rollers, cellar dwellers. You might want to get a shot at Hennessy, man, and get better. All you got to do is go in that film room and get better. Let's get this show kicked off. Other than that, let's take a look at the rankings. At the top, still at the top with a 9-2 record, leading the league in scoring at the Coaches Cadets. They didn't quite. A win would have locked up the number 1 seed in the division. They lost last week, so Houston Hustlers still have an opportunity to win the division, and SWAT Kings and Arian Foster Care have opportunities to be the number 1 overall seed. So it's definitely not over. The Cadets are still playing. They're still playing for something. We'll put it like that. Now, from 2 on down, we got a lot of changes, man. There's a lot of teams that are making some noise. A lot of teams are making trades. A lot of teams have stayed the course. I really want to compliment these teams that have made the rankings, because I think, out of this, we have 5 teams. There's 12 teams in the league, and I think it's pretty clear right now that these teams are separating themselves from the pack. Now, it doesn't mean that these teams that are in the rankings are going to win it all. Because anybody can get hot, at any time, or someone can have an injury or what have you. You never know. But, this is where I see things ending out if, things going, as they look. Number 2, I got Aaron Foster Care. They played the Coaches Cadets, number 1 team in the league, and they had a big win against them, man. So they took over number 2, over the SWAT Kings. Now, even though technically in the rankings, in the seedings, SWAT Kings is number 2. Just because they have the tiebreaker, let's see how many more points they have. They both have the same record. As far as the tiebreaker goes to points, and man, goodness gracious, SWAT Kings. That just proves the type of body of work they've put together. SWAT Kings has over 100 more points. 96 to be exact, over the Aaron Foster Care. So they're gonna have to have a better record. A tie looks like at this point will go to SWAT Kings. But the reason why SWAT Kings dropped, because they're kind of, compared to these other teams these last 3 weeks, I kind of looked at the last 3 weeks to kind of make these rankings. I'm not going to say on a slide, but these other teams are playing better at this point. I'm going to be honest. At number 3, another surprise. Last week, this team was number 5 on my rankings, and that Lynch Mob. Number 3. I think this is the hottest team in the league right now. They're talking a lot of Smith, man, but, hey, you can talk Smith when you getting the job done. So congratulations, Lynch Mob, on being the number 3 team at this point in the league in my rankings. You're doing a lot of great things, and just keep it up, man. You keep going at this pace, you're gonna see yourself in the very end, right there. Number 4, SWAT Kings. I think these 4 teams are clearly the best 4 teams in the league. If you would bet money, I think these will be the Final 4. I think this will be an awesome Final 4 if these were the last 4 teams standing. But SWAT Kings is awesome. As you can see, their body of work over the whole season has been tremendous. They have a great team. A lot of guys ranked high on their roster. There's just on the last couple of weeks they've had some, they've put up good numbers, but these other 2 teams have put up great numbers, in my opinion. But SWAT Kings are number 4. There's no shade to them. I think the top 4 teams, any of these teams could be number 1. Number 5, I put a tie here. Ground and Pound had a big win last week versus who they play. Let's see. I know they put up a good score last week. Ground and Pound played SWAT Kings. They were the number 2 teams, and they beat them 104 to 127. So I think that deserves left to them for the first time in a few weeks to be in the top 5 rankings. But the Houston Hustlers, man, I thought they were asleep. they're 7-4, guys. I mean, they're 7-4. It means something. You know, they have some type of body of work here. And they had a big win last week when I thought they were going to be out. They're a high roller. So I think they deserve to be the number 5, tied for number 5 with the ground and pound. So congratulations to those 6 teams that are made the top 5 ranking, our poll. Let's look at the playoffs, man. We kind of talked about it a little bit. There were some big, huge games this week that we'll talk about in a second. But last week, there were some huge games. I mean, every game is big for pretty much everybody going out. But as of right now, the playoffs started today. We have the Cadets at number 1. We have the SWAT Kings at 2. Arian Foster Care at 3. Houston Hustlers at 4. Lynch Mob at 5. Ground and Pound at 6. Camp Creek Cartel at 7. All Aboard at 8. Now, right there, we got Picasso, baby, who's you know, their points are pretty close to All Aboard. So if it's a tiebreaker, you know, they could pick their points up. You got They Say who has a lot of points. You know, they're up there. They have more points than All Aboard. And they're really close to Ground and Pound. And they have more points than Houston Hustlers. So They Say who that can win out, man. I really think they're in a position where they'll make the playoffs if they win out. So we basically have 10 teams vying for 8 spots here. Well, really, yeah. I think the top 4 teams are pretty much in now. From the 74 teams and up, it's the other team. I think Lynch Mob and Ground and Pound, one more win for them will put them in. But, you know, you can't say they're in because they could easily lose out because I think both those teams have a tough schedule. So I think the top 4 teams are safe. I think Lynch Mob and Ground and Pound are pretty good. But those 5 and 6 teams are in trouble. I'm not in trouble, but they got to win. They have must wins. The Camp Creek, All Aboard, Picasso, baby, all 5 and 6. Then They Say who that's 4 and 7 with a lot of points. So they're pretty scary. So man, looking at the playoffs, man, anything can happen these next 2 weeks. You never know when you know, Aaron Rodgers went down a couple of weeks ago. You never know. We got some big buys this week. Seattle's on bye, Philly's on bye, Cincinnati's on bye. So there's some big buys this week, man, and a lot of those teams are depending on a lot of those guys. So we'll see. Let's look at the matchups of this week. Like I said, the playoff implications are huge. I mean, I think the schedule makers feel like they knew what was going on. But right before we look at it, I do want to say something about these I hear a lot of guys, you know, they say, I don't want to have this seat, I want to have this seat. Man, just go ahead out and say it, man. If you don't want to play the Cadets, just say it. Don't say you want to be this seat, you want to be that seat. But I think that's a bad way to look at it. In order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So if I was one of you guys, I would want to play the Cadets and not be the guys to knock them off. Don't want anybody else to knock us off, pause. You know, why don't you be that person? You know, we respect every team that we play. We know we can be beat at any time, you know, so I'm not looking forward to playing anybody. We're looking forward to going on a great championship run once again. Whoever's in the way is in the way. But anyway, this week, the first game I have on my list here is the Coastal Cadets and Ground and Pound. Like I said, it's not a big game for us at the Cadets. You know, we just want to play well, play consistent. Ground and Pound's huge for them. I mean, they're playing the number 1 team. If they lose, they don't have great points. So if they lose, they're going to be in the must-win next week. But that's going to be a good game. But they got some buys. Let's see. Yeah, their quarterback's out, Russell Wilson. So they're going to back up quarterback. That's going to be tough. They Say who that Lynch Mob. Lynch Mob, you can go ahead and clinch this week if you win. They Say who that? You win, man. Woo! If They Say who that wins this week, man, oh man, it's gonna be a great week 13. I'll tell you that. It's gonna be a great week 13. So I'm kind of rooting for They Say who that just because I want to see some. I want to see this thing go down to the wire, man. Nothing against Lynch Mob. We got Arian Foster Care versus Picasso, baby. Picasso, baby, you're fighting for your life, son, against a really good team, man. If you show up this week, that says a lot about your character and your team, the gutsiness that your team would have, the intestinal fortitude. You know, it says a lot about all that. But Arian Foster Care, you know, look, they're favorites. Arian Foster, they're trying to get in that number 2 seed here. Got SWAT Kings and All Aboard, same situation. What kind of intestinal fortitude do you have, All Aboard? SWAT Kings, you know, you gonna let Arian Foster take the division from you? You gonna have a stronghold on him. And we got Houston Hustlers and Team Wood Paws. Houston, son, I mean, I would like, you know, you should win that game. You know, you just should. Team Wood hasn't really put up much of a fight against anybody all year. Then we got Camp Creek Cartel versus Hen Dog. I think for Camp Creek, they've had a tough schedule. I think it feels good for them to see Hen Dog on their schedule, but it seems like Hen Dog and Team Wood are having a fight to see who's the worst team in the league. So anything can happen any given Sunday. We got a lot of must wins. We got a lot of guys who must win to clinch a first seed, clinch a division, to clinch a playoff spot. So we're looking forward to it. We're out of time. Good luck to all you guys, and we'll see you guys on the field, Ground and Pound. Take care.